What's going on, everybody? It's Steve, and here I am with the second hype video for Season 7 of VBL. This time talking about one-pointer combos. Maybe you've gone top heavy and you got 1 point left. Can you actually get something that's not Tortuga that is actually worth that 1 point? Here's some ideas for you. Bonsly. Bonsai actually has a lot of good options. I'm going to give you one with Explosion, some with Trick Room. It's got decent attack, it's got 80 attack, it's got Sturdy. You can combine those two by getting a good self destruct off, or pair it with something with Explosion, like Azelf or Rhyperior. Something with a massive attack stat, and like a Life Orb or a Choice Band. Blow that thing up, use Curse on Bonsly on the same turn, give it a Custat Berry, use Copycat. That means Bonsly goes next, use Copycat. As long as the other two Pokemon and the Exploder have died, it will also use Explosion, and you might just win the game in 2 turns. Bonsly also has 10 speed. You can use Copycat for Trick Room Reversal if somebody tries to Trick Room on you. You can also use it in Trick Room for Helping Hand or Fake Tears support. Bonsly, while not obviously good every game, or probably any game, does have some good tricks. A +1 max attack Explosion has a 37% chance to OHKO a Latias with no investment. Obviously, Latias is probably going to have some investment, but that's just a good example of the damage that this thing can do with this Copycat Explosion strat. On top of that, if you want to run it in Trick Room, pair it with something like a Life Orb Runerigus, Psychic, after you get a Fake Tears off onto something like a max HP Assault Vest Duraludon, doing 70 to 81%. That's pretty good because that's an incredibly bulky Pokemon. So yeah, if you get an Azelf, you got 1 point left, think about getting yourself a Bonsly, or if you have Reuniclus, or some other specially attacking Trick Room setter, like an Exeggutor. Think about getting a Bonsly. Next combo, we've got Dartrix, and again, comboing with Runerigus. Dartrix at 1 point seems like a bit of a steal, but I would never take it above 2. Honestly, I probably wouldn't even take it at 1. But what it does have is decently weak non-stab Shadow Sneak. This will work well for your bulky Psychic or Ghost types with Weakness Policy, Reuniclus, Latias, Drifblim, Articuno, just to name a few. Dusknoir is still available, would also work for that. It's got decent offensive and defensive stats. The problem is its move pool, outside of its strong stabs and knockoff and feather dance, isn't great. It does have Brave Bird, it does have Leaf Blade, so you give it an Eviolite, Shadow Sneak, knockoff, Brave Bird, Leaf Blade, you're good to go. Or you bulk it out, you give it Feather Dance. This thing could be very useful, especially paired with something like Drifblim, who doesn't have terrain anymore. The only terrains that are left are Grookey and Galarian Weezing. If you pair Drifblim with a Shadow Sneak Dartrix, you're going fast. A lot of these are pricey. Articuno, I think, is only 10 points. Drifblim is around 12, I think. And Reuniclus is also around that area, so for 13 points, that's a decent combo with Dartrix. Moving on, this is the one I teased in the Discord. We've got Dwebble for 1 point. Oranguru and Sylveon are both fairly high priced, so it's quite probable you end up with 1 point left in your draft with a slot to fill. Think about Dwebble. You've got Sturdy and Shell Smash. Poppin brought up that you could run Squirtle in this case. Squirtle, because he has Fake Out, I believe, is at 2 points. It also does not have Sturdy. The max speed of Dwebble is 117. You can give this thing an Eviolite, so it'll live most attacks, but if it doesn't, it still has Sturdy. You want it to be a 117 or around there, so that it can Shell Smash and then get Psych-Upped by either Oranguru or Sylveon. Doesn't matter what their speed is, you just want them to have enough so that at +2 speed, they will be faster than the other team's entire team, which most of the time you'll only need, 90 probably. Most of the very fast mons are gone. Espeon also has Psych Up, but it's too fast for this strat, even at no speed investment, it's at 130. Sylveon and Oranguru are also very bulky, so they have the capability of withstanding a hit while they Psych Up. And the fun thing about White Herb is that it does get rid of the negative stats, the negative defensive stats that you get from using Shell Smash via Psych Up. And just some calcs here, +2. 52 special attack, modest. This is just an arbitrary number I used to get the correct speed values. But obviously on different teams you could invest heavily into special attack, but at +2, that Hyper Voice into that same Assault Vest Duraludon as before, doing 73 to 87, and that's a spread move. And then a Psychic against a Dracozolt, which is a fairly decently bulky Pokemon. 87 to 103%, 25% to Oko. Of course, with a Dracozolt, you gotta worry about being killed by Boltbeak. But yeah, Psych Up. Good value on something like Dwebble, who can give you a Shell Smash. Next combo. This is very specific, and only works with Runerigus. I suppose you could run it with Yamask, but why do you need huge power on a Yamask? These two have Phoebus and Azurill, are both 1 point, obviously, because they both suck, and they have adaptability and huge power. The idea behind this is that you use Trick Room with Runerigus, and either Waterfall it with Phoebus, or Aqua Jet, or Brutal Swing, or something with Azurill, to switch your ability over to Runerigus while activating a weakness policy. So you suddenly have Earthquakes with adaptability, or Poltergeist with huge power, that +2 with your 100 attack stat boosted by huge power and adaptability. Obviously will Oko anything, because that's pretty busted. Obviously it would be better with Azurill, because Azurill will underspeed Runerigus and Trick Room all the time. Feebas is fairly fast, actually, at 80 base speed, I think. So you gotta live through something to be able to pass it, or just waterfall the Runerigus right off the bat. Azurill also has good support moves: Helping Hand, Charm, Perish, Song, Fake Tears, Soak, and Sing. Feebas has Hypnosis, Confuse Ray, Mirror Coat, and Whirlpool. I think Azurill is way more useful in general, but Feebas has its place. Like, just imagine Aqua Jetting your Runerigus, he gets Trick Room up. Next turn you protect, Earthquake, kill 2 mons, Azurill uses Perish Song, and you've just won the game. That's an ideal game, obviously, but just the potential of that combo for Runerigus is 10 points, Azurill is 1 point, 11 points. You have a combo that requires respect in team building. Next combo, Helioptile. This is purely to pair with a ground type, ideally Hippowdon, because it sets up the sand. You can run Sand Veil to be extra annoying with an Eviolite, or even just throw on Bright Powder, mainly because it gets Electrify. So you electrify a mon that you think is going to target your ground type, let it set up. Hippowdon has Curse and Slack Off, so that gives it an extra turn. If you have something else like Swampert, Swampert's not available. Rhyperior. Oh, Electrify onto a Rhyperior. It even has Lightning Rod. But then you can't use Electrify. But either way, the point stands. Electrify something that's trying to attack Rhyperior, you're not getting hit. Helioptile also has other useful moves. It has Glare. You want to ignore the thing, it's going to paralyze you. It also has Ally Switch. You want to ignore the thing, No, you don't. And no, you can't. You can also fit it on a rain team with Dry Skin and Thunder. Thunder shooting it off in the rain. Dry Skin, you can just run it next to something with Surf. Or you can run Electric Terrain for your Unburden mons. Pretty slow, so this is probably not going to work. But you could also run it against the team that has Fungus, so they don't get spores. This is one of the weirder combos, and because of the weird speed stat, I think it's at 70. This is unlikely to work without a Scarf, but it would be something funny to bring for 1 point, 1 week. Silly Cobra. This is also pretty obscure. Did you draft Dracozolt and someone snipe Hippowdon, and you don't want Hippopotas? You can count on the fact that somebody's going to hit this thing and give you Sandstorm. It has Sand Spit, which, when it gets hit, makes the sand go up. You could even activate it yourself with a sprint move, if you wanted. Much like the previous Helioptile, it has Glare and Screech, so you can't ignore it, or it will paralyze your whole team, or drop your defenses. It also has Skitter Smack to drop special attack, Mud Slap, it has Minimize to be super annoying. I think this thing does have potential. You obviously pair it with Stoutland too, one of the other premier Sand Rushers that are left. But as a 1 point Sand Setter, I think this has a place on exactly one team. Next up we've got Kabuto, and I think this is actually really good value. Did you spend a quarter of your points on Politoed? Kabuto has Swift Swim, and it's fast enough in the rain to outspeed everything in the format. It's got 80 attack with good stab moves, Liquidation, Rock Slide, Stone Edge. It has Knockoff. It has Aqua Jet and Rock Blast if something has a Sash. Most importantly for this combo, though, you run Life Orb or even Choice Specs Politoed alongside Metal Sound Kabuto. So that you can just start firing off, Choice Specs Hydro Pumps or Muddy Waters, while Kabuto lowers the special defense by 2 of the opposing team. Gotta watch out for fake outs, obviously, and this is not to be run with a Prankstermon. Like, you gotta spend a turn setting up the rain and then switching in your Rain Sweeper while Kabuto kind of just sits there and does stuff. You could even run this thing with a Sash and Sword Stance, and then just the Aqua Jet with a +2 Kabuto in the rain. This is a very high power, low cost combo. To the point where I would probably rather this over Kabutops, who is at 6 points, I think. Just because, you're spending so much on Politoed, you need something low cost to be able to round out your team. Next up, and this is something I got from one of my mock drafts, Noibat. Uniquely, outside of Noivern, is the only mon with Tailwind and Telepathy. You can pair it with a suicide lead like Blacephalon throwing out Mind Blowns, or something with Explosion, again, like Azelf. So they have to make a choice. If they lead something with a Fake Out, or something that's faster than either of the two that are on the field, they either have to double into your Sash Noibat to stop Tailwind from going up, or use something to taunt it, or they double up into the other mon, get Tailwind up for free, and probably still take some damage because these two are like super fast. Noibat also has Super Fang to do some damage, so it's not just sitting there after Tailwind, and Whirlwind to stop Trick Rooms. So you could freely just Mind Blown and Whirlwind, Mind Blown, Tailwind, Mind Blown, and something, I don't know. This is a very specifically combos with something that you want to die to set up your late game. I think I got 2 more. Psyduck and Woobat, both 1-pointers, and they both have Simple Beam. That is the entire point. They pair well with a slower White Herb Shell Smash, which believe is only Turtonator. So if you use Simple Beam from either Psyduck or Woobat onto the Turtonator, and then have it use Shell Smash, it gets to +4, +4, +4, -0, -0 because of the White Herb. Turtonator is very strong defensively. It has high bulk, it has great typing, so it's not going to go down. And at +4, that's 3 times speed. You don't even need that much speed investment for it to be that useful, right? Even at 70 speed, you'll be outspeeding the entire format guaranteed outside of Scarfers. So you can just go modest, max into special attack, and the rest into bulk, which ensures you'll get this off, because nothing's, barely anything is 2-hit KOing max bulk Turtonator. So which one do you want to pair with Turtonator? Also, Turtonator's only like 8 points or something, so this entire combo is less than 10 points. But on Psyduck, you've got Cloud9, which would be good against the Rain teams, Helping Hand, Hypnosis, Encore, Yawn, all incredibly valuable. Woobat has Ally Switch, Fake Tears, Helping Hand, Taunt, Trick, Charm, Speed Swap, also all very valuable moves. This is a fairly unique combo that provides hilarious value. Turtonator on its own is good. A little hard to use because of the speed, but that doesn't matter when you're at +4 after 1 turn. And the last combo, maximum bullshit. Zorua is 1 point. Shedinja is 10, I think. Maybe it's 8. Somewhere in that range. They share no weaknesses, and Shedinja's immune to fighting. If you lead Zorua and you've got Shedinja on your team, that's just so annoying. You could just get rock slided and die anyway, because Zorua has like no defenses, but it has 80 special attack, and it has lots of good support moves. I mean, you pick Shedinja, you're trying to be annoying anyway. Just add Zorua to the mix just to be a complete asshole. And that's it for my 1-pointers. And I think that's probably my last Season 7 prep video, so hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Peace.